Hey, what's up guys, I'm Deep from ibiixo, and today we are going to discuss all the FAQs related to setting up an offshore development center in India, how to set it, what are the government rules, and how to make the payments, how to manage the resources, each and everything. So practically the first question is how to set up an offshore development center in India. Are there various options or how to deal with that? Right, so there are basically two options, two ways in which you can have your own development center or your own dedicated center in India. The first is you tie up with established IT company who is registered with Government of India. Make sure that the company you tie up with is registered with Government of India, so that they are bound to rules and regulations. Now the second point is you set up your own company in India. There are certain rules and regulations to deal with it. Once you set up your own company in India, you can start hiring people directly here. So let's get started with the further points related to the two options what you have discussed. Right, so say for a situation that you are planning to set up a company in India. Now there are various options in which you can do it. The first option here is that start a new company as an Indian company, altogether an Indian company in India. Now that has its own rules and regulations, which we'll definitely going to discuss in the later part of the video. And the second part here is that starting it as a foreign company, starting it as a subsidiary of a foreign company, starting it as an branch office or something like that. So these are basically two options. The first is you start it as a altogether new Indian company, and the second thing is starting up a company as a foreign company who is starting its branch in India or starting its offices in India. Right. So when you are planning to start an Indian company, you can again do it in two ways. Either it can be a joint venture or it can be a wholly owned subsidiary. So under the Companies Act 1956, when you are starting it with a joint venture with an Indian partner, you can do businesses with certain restrictions, wherein you are providing them the funds, the business, the marketing plan, and the complete management is been done by the Indian partner. Like, of course, like there will be dedicated resources which you can send and run the business down there, but then it's necessary to have an Indian partner to do a business. Like it will be a dual business combination of an Indian company and a foreign company which is starting a new company in India. So both the stakeholders will have a certain amount of stakes. Like with this option as well, that 100% FDI, that is foreign direct investment, is available. But within joint venture, it's necessary to have a Indian company as one of the partner. It's not possible to have two foreign companies to start a joint venture in India without any of the Indian partner. Now to start this, there are rules and regulations. You need to register a company with ROC and take permissions from RBI related to it, and once the documentation process has been done, that can be further executed. Now when it comes to documentation, like with Indian partners, it's not that very difficult documentation. It might take around 5 to 6 weeks to complete the documentations, wherein the foreign partner needs to be in India and the procedures can be executed quite easily. Right, so the other option to starting in joint venture is to start a wholly subsidiary company in India. So as in foreign national, as in foreign company, you can start a company in India which is a private limited company. You do not require any approval from the Reserve Bank of India. There is a standard procedure you can follow and get started with the company. Now to start a company, it's possible to have 100% FDI, that is 100% foreign direct investment, but you at least need to have one Indian national to be a part of the company. So say for a situation that there are 3 directors, 2 are foreigners and 1 is Indian. So 2 are the foreign companies or foreign individuals and 1 is Indian. So in this case, it is possible that 100% stakes are being held by the 2 foreign companies, but then it's necessary to have 1 Indian national or a company to be a part of the company. So 1 director as an Indian individual is been required. Now let's talk about the procedure to fulfill this. Now the first step here down is to register your company with ROC, and to do that you require your director identification number, which is applicable in India. You can apply it directly online and then get a digital signature. Once you have received this, once you complete the procedure to do this, you can apply to the ROC and to start a company with a name which has been available. and get started with the functions. It is to be noted down here that when a company has been started as a wholly subsidiary company, all the rules and regulations related to all the Indian company are applicable to this company. So there are no changes in rule. The same rule applies to an Indian company and the same rule applies to a wholly subsidiary company which has 100% FDI. So there are no changes in the rules in this particular case. Right, so initially we discussed 2 points. The first was to start as an Indian company and the second was to start as a foreign company. Now we discussed all about starting up as an Indian company. Now the next point is to start a company as a foreign company. Now there are 3 ways to do that. First is to set up a representative office. Second is to start something like a branch office, and third is to start a project office. Now when it comes to starting a representative office, that is not allowed to do any business that do not have any profit or loss or any sort of business activities. They can just be a representative of the foreign company and be a channel of communication between the foreign company and the Indian customers or the manufacturers from whom they are buying or selling. Now when it comes to the second option, that is the project offices. Now companies in foreign can start a project offices here in India with the permission from Reserve Bank of India. There is a set procedure to do it. Now that usually takes around 1 to 1.5 months to get started with the licenses and the procedures. Now once this things have been done, foreign companies can do the related business down here in India, but that should be specific to the project for which they have taken the permission. Now with all these permissions, when they are starting the project, that the license has been provided for a specific period of time, and once that has been completed or the project has been completed, they need to shut down the office and they cannot continue with that particular license. Now the third option is starting something as an subsidiary or branch office, actually not subsidiary. Now branch offices here can do businesses wherein they can set up the business down here in India as in foreign company. They can be a representative of a foreign company and can do business on behalf of a foreign company. Now here it has a specific task which they can do, such as import exports, taking goods from here, selling down there, or importing goods from the foreign company and selling down here. So they can do shipping on behalf of either of the company. They can serve the customers. They can have a customer service center down here, and there are predefined steps. I have written that down in the descriptions. Now this everything has a limitation. Now when it comes to branch offices, branch office cannot be a standalone office and they cannot manufacture anything. So say for a situation that a foreign company has a branch office here in India, they cannot manufacture anything. They can just do the trading. However, they can definitely subcontract to other Indian companies to complete a particular set of rights. So let's recall what we discussed. Like the point what we were discussing is how to set up a business down in India, how to set up a company in India or offshore development center in India. So the first part what we discussed is that starting your own company. We discussed 2 points in it. The first is starting as an Indian company, wherein we discuss again 2 points, that starting as a joint venture or starting as a wholly owned subsidiary. Now the second part in the same point what we discussed was starting as a foreign company. Now there were 3 points in that you can start a branch office here in India, you can start a project office here in India, or you can start a representative office here in India. So that was one set of dealing. Now we are going to discuss the second part of the game, that is tying up with already established company in India and starting the business, offshore development center for your IT or any related project. So the question here is that how to tie up with an Indian company to start a dedicated development team or dedicated development center here in India. Like this is specific to IT industry. Now to tie up with a company in India, you need to sign a legal agreement. Now when it comes to legal agreement, it's not the white paper on which you sign and stamp. You can actually hire a lawyer or ask the Indian company to get a legal agreement drafted by the lawyers and can get it signed and stamped by the directors of the company. You need to make sure that is not signed by any of the representative of the company or the employee of the company, but that should be signed by the directors of the company. Now, once you tie up with them, then that should be with a specific set of requirements on the deliverables, on how the functioning would work, what area would be designated, what type of resources you would require, and the flexibility in the same. Right. So next is that what points you should keep in mind as a foreign company when tying up with an Indian company to set up an offshore development. The first and foremost point is to make sure that they are registered with Ministry of Corporate Affairs of Government of India. So you can ask them for the CIN number or the incorporation certificate and can verify it online and see that they are valid company and not any fraud company. Now the second thing is you also need to make sure that they are ready to sign the legal agreement, which would be signed by the directors of the company with their stamp and seal. Now you might find that the company is registered with Government of India, but then they are not ready to get it signed by the director of the company. So you need to make sure that they are registered with Government of India, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and they are ready to sign the legal agreement with the sign and stamp and the seal of the director of the company. Now apart from this, the additional things what you can check is that whether the company is having any quality management system which they are following, they are having any certificates like ISO 9001 2015, and can ask them for the verification URL and can check it online by the governing body. Right. So once you made sure that these three basic requirements have been fulfilled, you can move ahead and tying up with the company. Now apart from this legal stuffs or the business stuffs, I have a separate video. You will find the link down here wherein you can check about the detailed points about the points you should keep in mind while choosing your offshore development partner. So please have a look for the details specifically to check off the quality and the way of doing business and how to deal with them. So the next point here is to see the pros and cons of both the approaches, that setting up your own company in India and tying up with an offshore development partner. So let's go ahead. The first point, let's talk about the pros of setting up your own company in India. The first benefit of doing this is that you have the complete control over each and everything. Each aspects of the business is under your control. The profit goes to you, the losses goes to you. You have the complete control over the business. The further benefit to this is that as it's your own company, you can redirect the business the way you want. You deal with the Government of India and can set up the things. You can ask for tax relaxations and get the things done. Now the cons or the problems with setting up the company here in India as your own company. The first problem is the government documentations. You need to do lot of documentations work. You need to hire a lawyer. You need to hire a chartered accountant. You need to hire a company secretariat to deal with the things and set up a company in India. Apart from that, once the company is set up, the other problem is dealing with the rules like of the employees. Well, when you are hiring them, you need to make sure that their provident funds are being paid regularly. They are given the basic covers like life insurance and such sort of things. Apart from that, filing up the IT returns on yearly basis, providing the audit reports. So there are a lot of legal stuffs which have been involved when you are coming up with your own company in India. Now just not the legal stuffs, like the point I covered down there was the stuffs related to employees. So you also need to make sure that all the requirements have been fulfilled based on the rules and regulations of Government of India and the labor laws down here, and can see that everything has been fulfilled. That may include the insurance, that may include the salary they are getting, that may include the leaves they are getting. So the complete HR related things, complete finance related things, you need to provide them the TDS certificate on yearly basis. So that level of things increases down when you are setting up your own company. Now apart from that, you will also need to hire multiple people to manage this. So it's not just that you hire a particular person and they manage your company. You need to have a separate people who deal with the government stuffs. You need to have separate people who deal with the HR stuffs and the other person who deal with the operations. Now you can compromise on this, but then it is not advisable to get one person to manage complete thing. So the other point in other problem while in starting up a company here in India, is that either you need to partner or either you need to have a joint venture with any of the company or the person in India, or you need to have one person from your company continuously here in India to manage the business. I guess that is one of the most difficult point after the government documentations, the legal stuffs, and the HR related stuff. So if you are ready for it, then that is one of the best options to go with. Now the pros of tying up with a company here in India. The first, the major benefit down here is that you just need to do one legal agreement and that fulfills all your job. So what happens is that you tie up with the company, then other government related stuff related to employees, related to their payments, related to HR policies, related to taxes, the TDS, the IT returns, everything is been managed by that particular company. Now, say for a situation that something goes wrong with the employee and they file a case or suit against you, then you would not be responsible in this case. It would be the company with whom you tied up, they would be responsible to address them. So you avoid all the complications down here, you avoid all the problems down here, and the company with whom you are tying up manages all the things for you here. So the single benefit, or one of the major benefit of tying up with a company in India, is that you avoid all the legal stuffs, you avoid all the employee related stuffs. You just think of the output and everything else has been managed by the company with whom you are tying up with India. So a single agreement and the things would be covered up. Now what are the cons or what are the problems in tying up with a company here in India? The first problem which many of the companies faces down here is to choose a genuine partner. Now say for a situation you are tying up with a company which doesn't turns out to be a genuine partner, then that is definitely a huge loss to the business. So if you are choosing a right partner by checking their authority, their authenticity with the government and the other related bodies, then and you are sure that you are in safe hands, then this is one of the most easiest way to set up an offshore development partner here in India. Now we discuss pros and cons of both the things, like setting up a company in India and tying up with a company in India. Now in case you are planning to hire a team, you are planning to start an offshore development company in India, contact us on my email address or visit our site for more details, and let's get in touch to discuss more. We'll provide a complete solution, a dedicated solution actually, and can provide all the services you require without any hassle of government documentations, the HR related issues, the financial documents. Everything would be covered, and you will get all the outputs you require. So let's get in touch soon. Goodbye, take care.